This is Josh here from Inside Wrestling Truth, and today's guest is Kyle Maverick and Austin Bradley, better known as Spotlight. Uh, how you guys doing today?
Doing good, man. Doing pretty good. No complaints.
First question is, tell us where you're from and who trained you.
Go for it. I'm from originally Salem, Indiana, but I trained under Ian Rotten, Chris Hero, Mark Wolf through IW Mid-South Wrestling, and then I trained later at CZW out in Philadelphia.
From Louisville, Kentucky. I was originally trained by Nick Dinsmore and Al Snow, and had a little bit of training with Frank Miller. I try to forget that part of my training.
What guys did y'all follow growing up?
I was a pretty big Bret Hart fan. Jushin Liger, Hiroshi Hase. Pretty big fan of Coco Beware when I was real little. Still am. And British Bulldog, Owen Hart. You know, most of what people say when they're from, when they're about as old as I am, about 30, going on 50. So,
Yeah.
I've always looked up to like William Regal, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, definitely. That's pretty much my.
Cool. How did y'all become a tag team?
honestly, we were thrown together by D1W promoter Rick Brady, and he said that he felt like we would mesh well as a team, and I guess he was right. And
Just gained from there.
Right. What has been the best company y'all have worked for?
Rockstar Pro, for me at least.
Rockstar Pro and Dayton, it gives us a lot of exposure, but at the same time, you want to stay like close to home with like the promotions that are around here that have had us like D1W and even Evo Pro, because I mean if it wasn't for those places, I mean I honestly wouldn't. I can honestly say like I wouldn't have been taken halfway seriously as a wrestler, which I'm not even really taking too serious anyway. But even as serious as I am, if it wasn't for Rick Brady throwing me on the card, because I was literally just like a joke at the Coliseum before, like, oh, he was the referee, let's beat up on him. And then they put me on that show and was like,
And I can kind of say the same thing, because when I left OVW, like I didn't have a home, I didn't have a home base, and Rick gave me that. So he gave me a platform to build on, and I really do appreciate it. So,
What guys do y'all enjoy working with the most?
I enjoy working Dave and Jake Chris, like mainly the Ohio guys. Like you got like Ron Mathis, haven't wrestled Aaron Williams yet. Alex Cologne, love wrestling him. Dave and Jake, as I said. There's people here and there. When I was out on the East Coast, I like to work, like working with Shane Strickland, and he's like taking off, and he was just so easy to work with.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Dave and Jake Chris, definitely. Like he said, like most of the Ohio guys, he said, I haven't got a chance to work around Mathis yet, but I've heard great things, and I really want to work with him. And same with Alex Cologne, guys like, I love to work Cody Castle. He's a buddy of mine from Alabama. A lot of people up here probably don't know him. I love to work my buddy Jared Harris. We always have fun together in there. I just like to have fun with whoever I'm working. As long as we have fun and can put something good together, it's a good time.
Yeah.
as long as Jared's coming out to the Joan Jett, I love rock and roll.
Exactly.
That's the only way we'll take him.
That's the key.
What has been y'all's worst injury?
Ooh. This is going to be a long part of the interview. We'll skip concussions 1 through 12, and we'll go to probably when I broke my wrist in the ring. That was pretty awful. D1W show, and I fell off the top rope. I broke my wrist, and I had a concussion. That was pretty bad. And I ended up having post-concussion syndrome for weeks after that. The wrist injury wasn't real bad until I decided to be a manly man. And next night I was like, I'm working Pondo. It's a WCCW. Pondo calls it a pump handle slam. I'm like, fuck. So I duct tape my hand up thinking it's going to do something. And Pondo goes for it. And I just hear crack, crack when he puts it between my legs. I'm like, oh. That was probably the worst I've ever had.
I've been pretty blessed so far. I haven't had too many really bad injuries. I've had concussion, like broken hand, bent my knee backwards, screwed up ribs, and nothing like too like major. But I will say this though, when I thought I cracked my sternum, that was pretty brutal.
Okay, let's talk about OVW and your experiences there. And I think you want to talk about Frank Miller,
Yeah.
Trailer Park Trash.
You go and talk about your OVW experiences first, and then I'll cut mine.
I don't really have. I mean, I did like a little bit of a few of their Indiana house shows, and it wasn't anything like really bad. I was just low man on totem pole, just kind of stayed to myself and talked to people I knew I could talk to, and that was really my experience at OVW.
Let's be a little bit longer of a story.
Go for it.
When I first started at OVW, there was no issue. In Nick's class, it was always fun. You always had a great time. I never had an issue with anyone. But then as we get out of Nick's class, then we got into Frank's class. The first time I ever questioned Frank was probably when we first started. When we first started, we were in Nick's class. Nick had a tour in Australia with like Carlito and Chris Masters, so he left for a week, and Frank was training us. We'd already learned lockups. Frank decided to go back over lockups. We were locking up left foot forward, like any wrestler is trained to do, and Frank tells us that's wrong. You're supposed to go with your right foot first. So we all know what Nick had told us, but we're still young, so we're like, okay, maybe this is something different he's going into. No, we didn't know. So we're all getting jumbled up with these lockups. We're like, what the hell's going on? Then we slowly but surely, we realized, okay, it is the left foot. And my buddy Cody Castle, he already knew it was the left foot because he had wrestled in Alabama before, and he's like, this is wrong. Finally tells Frank, Frank's like, don't argue with me. I'm a vet. I've wrestled for the Fed. I've done this. I've done that. And we're just like, okay. And finally, that was probably the first time I started questioning, and eventually it got thrown out there, and then it was like, oh, you're right, it is the left foot. That was the first time I started to question things. Is when, then we get into training with Frank. Now, at first, he would get us in there, and he did teach us stuff the first couple weeks in training, and then he got this Harley of his that he liked to start up at the beginning of training and cloud the entire fucking arena with exhaust fumes before we get in there to train. And then it started slowly but surely being, I'm going to throw in a tape of last week's TV taping, but I'm not going to critique it. You all just kind of sit here and be babysitting, babysit us with the tape while he went out and wrote his fucking with the rats, which that was just bullshit, because you're paying $20 a week to train with this guy, and he just throws in a tape and is like, fuck you.
Right.
Fuck you. And we had another guy, I'm not going to say his name because he probably wouldn't like to be brought up, who started to come in and train us. And Frank could not stand that. And the ones of us that actually stayed and trained with that other person and that were starting to learn stuff from him, he would just shit all over us for everything. And then, I got a few opportunities given to me while I was at OVW. I got, it was small stuff, I got to do, this little tiny stint, on with Joseph Parks on Impact. And, being a young guy in the business, that meant the world to me, And, everybody just starts burying me, rumors, just total bullshit. And basically, the whole thing about OVW is everybody's like, they're going to go out of business soon. They're not, because there's always going to be a young guy who wants to go and get training. They're going to hear, CM Punk, Batista, John Cena, blah, blah, blah. They're going to go there for that training. And then you're going to get your basics there, but don't stay there. Because Danny Davis is a genius. What he does is he brings in these young kids and he promises them the world. You're gonna be a superstar. Tomorrow, superstars today. And when you get there in the beginner's class, he'll throw you all these training tapes and he'll be like, "Hey, look at CM Punk wrestling here. Look at this guy." And then slowly but surely you get this kind of like mindset, the OVW mindset, where if I stay here long enough, the Fed's gonna pick me up. I'll be a superstar in no time. Next thing you know, it's 7 years later. You know, you're Southern Tag Team Champion at OVW, and you're like, where have I been? You can go 2 states over, they never heard of you. But if you're in the Kentucky area, whoo, you're a goddamn superstar. And so, like, you know, it's just stuff like that. And my issue with Frank Miller was in training, just the bullshit he would pull and the shitty things he would do. He would always, like, try to get with female trainees. If they would tell him no, then you're married, you're never going to do anything. One day specifically, and this will be the last story I'd tell. We'll get on with this. We were in class one day. Frank was just putting himself over to Jay Bradley. Just, I've got the best chops in the business. I've got the best. No one's better. No one's better. And then we hear this conversation going on, and we all just kind of look at each other. Here it comes. He decides it's chop class randomly, so we all take our shirts off. It's no big fucking deal. We've all been chopped. Gets us in the corner, and Frank chops every single one of us twice. And then we're like, we line up to start the line to do it our turn like we always do. No, that's all we want to do. Training's over. So you just lined us all up in the fucking corner, chopped every single one of us, just to put yourself over to the TNA guy. Like, dude, fuck you, man. Fuck everything you're about. Like, I'm gonna stop there. Like, I'm just gonna stop there.
Okay, Austin, how was it working in the IWA? And Kyle, would you think you'll ever work in the IWA? You're not sure? Or?
I don't know. I mean, it was where I trained, and I refereed there for a while. And as I said, I was trained by Ian himself for the most part. And you know, I'm not gonna say like I'll never do it, because you know, who knows what's gonna happen down the road and stuff with. But it's definitely something that looks good, especially on people from around here's resume that you wrestle by IWA Mid-South. And I'm not totally against it. It's just certain, like politic bullshit, backstage shit needs to like change and I don't understand why. Like, I understand there's competition. I understand there's wanting to be better. I can understand if you didn't want to use somebody just because somebody else is using them, but I don't. Even from both sides, Rick, and because Rick's done it too, like before, and he's like rescinded it, but he's even done like the whole "I'll have to wrestle for this guy, you won't wrestle for me" type thing, and I'm just like, I don't like that at all. I don't care who's doing it, and because I mean, in the end of the day, we're independent wrestlers, independent contractors, like. Unless I'm signing my name to a contract to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, then if you're just going to give me $20 and a handshake and maybe a hot dog, then I'm not, I can't just say, hey, I'm only going to wrestle for you and F everywhere else.
For me, IWA wasn't a negative experience at all. Some stuff did happen, but it was all squashed. Now, the main thing is, they say there's this little war going on, D1W, IWA, and as a tag team, we're trying to stay out of the middle of that whole ordeal. Working EPW has become pretty much IWA's little brother. It's helped, smooth that ground out, but, I feel like in wrestling there's always going to be issues between companies, but why not use that to better each other, work together? I feel like if, IWA and D1W had, storylines that ran both companies, it'll never happen because egos get in the way, promoters are just, wrestling. It's just all fucked. So, stay out of the mix with that.
In all honesty, like, when this whole thing started, and whenever it started getting like really heavy there for a little bit, like, oh, F this guy, F that guy, F this guy, and everybody's talking shit about each other and all this stuff. I mean, not to sound like a little bitch that's gonna take his ball and run away with it, but like, I was just gonna be like, fuck wrestling in this area. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many other places to wrestle. Like, I don't,
Right.
you know, I mean, I can go up to Ohio, wrestle there. There's like little circuits where the promoters in every 30 miles, they work with each other for the most part. So it's like, I don't understand. I mean, I realize it's all within like 10 miles of each other here and shit, but it's like, where else are we going to go in Indiana?
Yeah.
Unless you go to Indianapolis or further north or like to Evansville and shit. So it's just like, it's just, I just, because when I was out on the East Coast, like, none of this shit happened. Like, nobody was like this. Like, none of the wrestlers, promoters, people, money backers, anything was like how they are around here. And I was just like, why the fuck can't people be civilized human beings like they are out east or even in Ohio or up north even? So it's just, you know.
Egos.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it is.
I mean, we've all got ego. Otherwise, why are me and Austin getting dressed up in pretty little panties and jumping off the top rope in front of crowds of people?
Right.
But I mean, it's to what extent that your ego goes. You know, you can control it, and some people can't control it. And I mean, I'm not pointing fingers at any one person, but I'm just saying as a whole.
Pointed at me.
Holy crap! Yeah, I did. Austin fucking Bradley. Get the free subs. Get the free subs from Subway. Get all the girls that you want.
Oh shoot.
What legends have y'all worked with, or what legends would you want to work with that you haven't?
When I was in Coliseum before I moved, I was actually involved in an angle with Tracy Smothers, and that was pretty awesome. And I love Tracy to death.
Yeah.
Even when I was like training, he was nothing but the coolest dude in the world. And I've done like seminars with certain people and stuff like that, but it's not really like working in ring. It's totally different. But yeah, the main one for me is Tracy Smothers.
Probably, I haven't worked any real legends, but getting the chance to train with Al at OVW and doing like, you know, he did probably like 4 Wednesday classes, and they were just so like 6 hours of just listening, and it would just broaden your mind so much. He amazing stuff. And you know, working with Nick, I don't know if you consider Nick a legend, or I consider Nick a legend. You know, he's an amazing wrestler, and getting to work with him was amazing. Awesome dude. You didn't have to do anything. You didn't have to think about anything. He took control completely. Just kind of used your body to make a good match.
Yeah. What guys in the business can you call real friends?
Wow.
Jared Harris is sitting over here smirking.
There's been I've had a good handful or two of people like from here. And then when I was out east, it was like the people I trained with out there. It was, I mean, it'd be probably about a good like 10 to 12 people total. But it's like I got a whole group of guys out east that I consider, you know, because I can talk to like every day, and if we were to see each other, we would be like, we never miss a beat and shit like that. And there's people that are like that here that are the same way. If I was to leave for a while, go anywhere, and then come back, I'd say about 12. Okay.
With me, it'd probably be like, you know, I still have a lot of friends at OVW, like Roberto De Luna. I've always, like, he'll be my big brother forever, you know. Aaron Sky, you know, Jared Harris, like I said, Kyle, Jason Saint, you know, just all those dudes.
Name dropping bastard.
What has been the worst company you have worked for?
Oh, WCCW in Jared, where's it at? Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. God. Oh man, horrible. The booker there, Amadeus Black Rain. Okay.
That's Asmodeus.
Asmodeus.
Amadeus.
That's why I never got about it. I never paid attention to his matches enough to get his name. He
Call him S. Clownius Chocolate Rain.
S. Clownius Chocolate Rain. He was ridiculous. Like, the angles he would come up with were so far-fetched, and he never referenced it, but I swear to God, the dude is trying his damnedest to be Kevin Sullivan. And then I pointed this out. The whole locker room thought it was funny. He didn't. And then I said, I respect you, Booker Man, on the mic one week, just to pop the boys. He hated it.
I really don't have one.
You're a liar.
Like, there's been some shitty shows, but like, there's shows, not like as a whole promotion, everybody involved. I mean, there's places where I haven't gone along with people, but I wouldn't consider like the promotion as a whole shitty.
Right.
You know, I just I've worked for promotions that are like this will they probably won't ask you to come back. And then there's been places where I wrestled where I was like, if I can make it, I'll make it, but it's just I've been really wrestling for like a terrible promotion. Like I hear stories from Austin about some like shitty places he's been to that have just been like, I'm just like, thank God I've never had to deal with shit like that.
Right.
I'm a booking for it, though. You call me, I'm gonna come one time.
What guys in the business do you have no use for or just dislike?
I'm gonna stay quiet on this question. You can talk.
That I just don't like.
Yeah, or just have no use for.
Frank Miller, I'll throw that one out there.
If there is any, if there's not any, that's fine.
I mean, I try to stay positive about most things. I'll vent here and there, like, fuck this, fuck that, fuck this. But for the most part, like, whenever I get with my tight-knit group, I'll piss and moan about something. But then it's like whenever I'm talking as me, it's like I try to stay positive for the most part.
We stay cordial with people, you know what I'm saying? Because you never know when.
Yeah, and I mean,
it's basically networking. You never know when somebody's gonna know somebody. So if I get on here and I'm just like, fuck you, and then that person's like, hey, you know what I'm saying?
And I mean, not to say that I haven't had disagreements with people or like been in like, beef with people and shit like that. But like, I'm always the first person to like, hey, we're professionals here. Let's fucking squash this. If you can trust me, I can trust you. That's really about it, man. Like I try to stay. You can ask them, like, for the most part, I try to stay right down the middle.
Yeah.
I'll piss and moan to them about all kinds of shit. But, like, that's just me letting it out. Once I let it out, I feel a million times better.
What do you think is most misunderstood about the young guys in the business?
A lot of young guys in the business, sometimes a lot of the shit isn't misunderstood. A lot of them do kind of open their mouths a lot, and I'm not sitting there. I've opened my yap. I've ran it to people, but a lot of the young guys in the business nowadays, it's like they don't paying dues. They think that like, okay, I set up the ring 5 times. That's paying my dues. No, they're just like whenever I was training IWM itself, Mickey Knuckles, she was on every show. Getting her head rattled, but she was still setting up, taking down the rings, getting the ring trail together. She did this for like years, and it's like somebody told me that you're not really considered not a greenhorn in the business until you're about 1,000 matches in or have been in the business for about 5 years. Then you're starting to kind of look like you're going to step up from being just total, green as goo shit. So I think a lot of it is just really the desire of the people getting into it, because they're like, oh hey, this guy runs a backyard promotion. We got a ring. We can run shows, even though we haven't been trained. And people do shit like that. It's just there's no desire. There's no real. There's a hazing period. And I mean, I didn't really go through one, thank God. But like, there were times where I get the shit kicked out of me. And then I saw kids at like training with at like some of the seminars. Kids would get kind of boots put to them a little bit. Like never saw them again. It's just like, And it's like people like that are coming and they're training. But then I see the same people going right down the road and wrestling forward to the semi-pro wrestling shows, which it just boggles my mind that they could say semi-pro, because I consider, like, if you're not signed to WWE, I consider that kind of almost being semi-pro unless you're making a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
But and then for them to call themselves semi-pro is just, it boggles my fucking mind.
I mean, I am a young guy in the business. I still am learning.
I am.
I mean, I'm learning a lot. This guy's teaching me. You know, you can ask anybody. I've got the biggest mouth. There's probably people watching right now who are like, holy shit. You know, I mean, but I am learning to keep my mouth shut. And the thing is that gets me is, like, I look back now with when I first started, and you come in so ignorant, especially in the environment I was in. You come in so ignorant that when you say things, you don't understand what you're saying. You don't understand what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't understand that saying this the wrong way brushes somebody the wrong way, and then, you know, before you know it, you've built up heat before you even had a chance to learn what you're doing wrong.
Yes. What's the biggest crowd y'all worked in front of?
I know the D1W First Strike 2013 had quite a few people, and that was pretty insane. And then this past year was that the Colgate Gym was pretty big. I'm trying to think how big, like, is that? That's probably like, when I did CZW, I did like their with Maven Bentley Association shows, their NBA shows, which was like smaller. They didn't bring in all the names and stuff like that, so like I never did the arena stuff. So I'd probably say like those two G1W shows and that IWA Mid-South, the EPW Love for Leanna. I mean, that was a pretty big crowd too. So Rockstar Pros had some where it's like standing room only. Yeah, like it was like packed, and I was trying to walk around to where you can peek through the curtain and see what's going on, but it was like I couldn't because fans were like right up against the curtain.
That's cool.
So I think for me it would probably be my first OVW match, which would be Homecoming 9. We sold out the Davis Arena and had like fans like standing up on the concession stand having to figure out, like, you know, it was insane. So that was probably the biggest crowd.
What's your guys' thoughts on hardcore wrestling?
It's entertaining. I mean, if done right and done where it can make sense, like, it's entertaining. Like, I'll watch a Cage of Death and mark like hell for it.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a few death matches in progress right now that are getting booked, and I think doing it seldomly is the smartest way to do it. I don't think you should make a career of it. If you do, that's something, like, you know, that's your choice. I don't want to do that personally.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's just how I feel about it.
Who's the stiffest guy y'all worked with?
The stiffest guy I worked with is probably Reed Bentley, and that's how he works. He works snug, and it's not anything like it was like killing me or anything, but it was just like, I mean, he's gonna make sure you sell for it, and so I get it.
Von Lilas with that, this guy I've worked.
What's y'all's thoughts on WWE, TNA, and Ring of Honor currently?
I honestly, I watch WWE like here and there when I can. I catch highlights of TNA, and Ring of Honor, it's whatever I can find because they don't have like it on TV around here.
Yeah,
So
I can't find it either.
yeah, I'll read like results, and then like I've subscribed to them on Facebook, and I'll read like them when they post stuff. I'll read about it, so I know about it through text. I've never seen the matches go down, so
I don't really watch TNA. WWE has actually been kind of entertaining lately, and as far as ROH goes, I don't like you said, we don't have it around here really. So I just see like IWA's Coast had 4 guys from ROH throughout the card wrestling each other, and it was awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got amazing talent. Michael Elgin, BJ Whipper just tore it down. Damn. So,
Who do y'all think is the best and worst company in Southern Indiana?
oh, don't give me that look, Jared Harris.
Best, I mean, of course, I'm gonna say, D1, um, Dave, but worst, there's a slew of just shit promotions that,
UWA.
yeah. I mean, and there's some of my friends who work there, and some guys that I think that have real potential in wrestling work there. But as a whole, it's the promotion I refer to as them calling themselves semi-pro, and just it's ridiculous because a lot of them went through training, but then didn't have the heart to actually keep going through it. And it's whenever I say something to somebody, one of their guys about like, maybe you should blah blah blah, and then they all take offense to it. And it's just like they don't know how to take criticism. They don't know how to take like a lot of things like how you should in wrestling. And there's guys that wrestle for UWA that I think have serious potential, like Logan Pagel, Craig Folsom. Like I think they could be good, but it's just getting them in the right direction to where they can be really good. You know what I mean?
It
like
almost, the way I see it with that company, and he thinks it's stupid, it almost offends me that they are allowed to run shows because of the fact that we go through so much to train and travel and learn. We're moving up to Ohio just so we can get better, and these guys, I got a ring, so let me get in there and put on a shit show for you. It's just,
I will say this one time they had the ring set up in one of them's backyard, and I was getting picked up somewhere to go to another wrestling show, and I was back there, and there was a bunch of like the guys that wrestle in UWA, and I remember I was like watching them like chain for a little bit, and I was just like just shaking my head because I almost wanted to pull like a bull paint. Are we fucking wrestling in Mexico? What the fuck? Like because they were working with the right arm, and then I started chaining them, and I was like, every time you work anything in wrestling, you go from left to right. You work the left arm, you get the headlock from that side, everything like that, right?
No.
And can you believe it?
It's amazing.
But whenever I told these guys that, it was just like I looked at them all dead in the face, and it was like silence because I could seriously picture like in Beavis and Butthead when you see that little light flicker off.
Yeah.
No, this in their heads it was like the mushroom clouds, like an explosion. Their minds are boom. It's like, what? It's only on the left side? What is this?
Start getting up on the right, see what happens.
Which town has the best fans, and which town do you enjoy working the most?
Ooh. Best fans is kind of when it comes to being rabid fans, Philadelphia by far. It was just like they either loved you, and when they loved you, and they was just crazy, they would go ape shit for you. If they hated you, they would throw shit at you, they wouldn't give a fuck. It's like security was like trying to get everything to stop them from throwing anything, like fuck you, throw this at them. But if you fucked up, I mean, you had to be on point with everything you did in the ring, because if you didn't, they would shit all over you. And I seen them shit on like wrestlers and matches that were, wrestlers are good, but the matches maybe not been as good as like the wrestlers were usually, and the crowd would just like mercilessly boo it and everything. It was, that's good and it's bad. So I think I'm gonna stick to Philadelphia as the best and the worst wrestling fans.
Probably Tennessee. They still believe it's not hard to get the crowd to the point, like, from first to last match, their soul is invested in the match. So it's not like that.
What has been the best matches of your solo career so far? Like at this point.
Good one. I like my match with Jerry Lynn and Mitch Johnson from D1W. Granted, I was kind of in starstruck mode for about the first 5 minutes of the match, and I was just kind of, not really kind of feeling everything out. I was really happy with one of my matches with Ron Mathis really anywhere because it's like almost instant chemistry with him.
For me, I'd probably say the best match I've had would be with Jared Harris at WCCW. And we ended up, it's the funniest story because we weren't supposed to be booked that night. And it was the night Rikishi was there, and we decided that we were going to go and talk to him. Dude, we're going to bug the shit out of you, pick your brain. And after talking to him for me, he's like, well, when's y'all's match? I'll check it out, just critique it. And we're like, well, we don't have one today. And he's like, okay, well, the booker ends up throwing us on an intermission. He says, you have no music, nothing. You have 5 minutes. Me and Jared go out there, and we went about 15. Something just clicked that night. I think it was just the fact, don't shake your head at me. Okay, I think some just like clicked that night. I think it was the fact that we just wanted to give that fuck you, but it was awesome. And for some reason, it wasn't on the DVD and it wasn't put over except by the fans. But that was probably my favorite best match.
What do y'all like and dislike the most about the business?
I hate everything about professional wrestling. Look me in the eye when I say this. I hate every single thing about professional wrestling except for when I'm in the ring.
Cool.
And with these guys. I hate fucking everything. Fuck this business. Okay?
The business definitely has its ups and downs. I hate dealing with people that you just can't talk to, and there's no talking to them. That just drives me up the fucking wall. I hate feeling like, I mean, it's pro wrestling, so what the fuck do I expect? But it's like I hate dealing with people that I feel like that are taking advantage, of goodwill, and as I said, it's pro wrestling. What the fuck do I expect? And the wrestling promoters aren't really known as being the most, honest, upstanding gentlemen. They're all car salesmen.
Yeah.
Jared is like about to explode right now. Can we have Jared Harris come back here and say something? Jared, come here.
I know what he's gonna say. What he hates worst about wrestling.
Come here.
It's Austin.
Like, scoot in here.
Austin Bradley gets a free
5-star
sub.
superstar.
What do I hate most about this business? Austin Bradley. I hate him with every fiber of my being.
Was it because of the free sub or?
No, that
The
just
second-
added on
the
to
second
it.
free
That
sub.
just added on to it, all right?
Is it because I got my dick sucked?
Yeah. Every day. You're getting it sucked right now, probably. And I just can't see it.
Oh my god!
Go sit down.
Get out of our shoot interview.
What is the best thing about y'all being a tag team?
We get along. That's usually a good part.
This is the one relationship in the group that hasn't had the big. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna knock on wood. We're the relationship within our little group of people that hasn't blown up or had a big out. Like,
I never blew up anybody.
He doesn't have one with me.
it's true.
That's why he's Donatello. Just goes along.
You are the Donatello in this group.
Maybe.
Go fuck yourself now.
Me and you blow up once a week.
Yeah. Me and Jared will be fist fighting before this interview is
Okay,
over.
no, them two idiots. These two idiots got into it was like a scuffle because he's sitting in the back seat and everything, right? One of them didn't want to sit in the middle. This is what this is over.
Well, this was a long, frustrating day.
Okay, this might be true, but let me finish.
I was very pissed off.
So
he
it's
was
icy.
security. It was madness.
It was icy outside, right? So they are going outside and they're arguing, blah, blah, blah. And I just thought they were joking because I'm like, really? You guys are going to argue over the middle?
I knocked him out, bro.
Austin, for some reason, they start like pushing each other, and then like Austin like pushes like Jared, and Jared slips, falls on his back in the ice and stuff. And then Jared goes, "Yeah, real fucking cute, Austin Bradley, real fucking cute." So something like that.
I just screamed, I knocked you out, bro.
Yeah, knock the fuck out, bro. Don't you fuck out, bro. And I was like. And then I seen one of the guys from Rockstar come over and just rush over and say, "Guys, stop!"
The switchblade.
Like they just start screaming, and then that's when I realized like, "Oh shit, they're really fucking going at it." These two morons.
Kyle Maverick gets out the car and he goes,
Austin, Jared, get in the fucking car. We're like, but no, get in the fucking car.
I don't care who sits where. You guys are getting it right now.
Anytime anybody gets into anything or anybody's mad or anything, it's Daddy Kyle that comes out and he's just like, get in the fucking car. One time we got a bunch of heat at Rockstar and there was a bunch of fans outside. Me being me, I just had to engage them. And, like, they were waiting for us by the car. Like, they were ready to fuck Jared's car up. And we were like, I'm just sitting there, fuck you, man. Fuck you, blah, blah, you know, just talking shit. Kyle's like, Austin, get in the fucking car. And I'm like, no. And he just gives me this look. And it's almost like that look your mom gives you, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, okay, I'm getting in the car.
What is y'all's favorite pro wrestling moment as a fan?
Oh, that's a good one. This is gonna make me think a little bit. CM Punk winning, cashing in Money in the Bank, being Edge. That was pretty good.
Probably Benoit going over for the Velvet Mania over Triple H Shawn Michaels.
I also really was into the Sabu Taz feud where they didn't touch each other for like an entire fucking year. And it's just like the constant lights go out and come back on, they just circle each other. And they finally get security to break them up and stuff before they fight. And then really got into that.
When they finally fought, did Paulie make you bust him out?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of,
Guerrero versus Mysterio and Havoc. Just the crowd reactions during that entire match was just amazing. Like, that match is one of my favorite.
One of my favorite things to actually look up when it comes to pro wrestling moments is like surprises and stuff like that. And it was when Rock was announced as the host of WrestleMania, like 2011, just fucking ate shit.
Yeah.
The crowd was just. Then I also dug it whenever Lesnar just comes back out of nowhere, and it's not even really that much on like the dirt sheets and stuff like that. People are saying like he's in talks with, and then Raw comes, boom, and there he is, and like the crowd was just like, oh. I remember Michael Cole just going, oh my god. Right. That was.
What do you think the reactions gonna be like when Punk comes back at Mania? Dano's theory. Buddy Dano's just got this long ass. It's hilarious.
I don't know, man. Like
He's coming back at Mania. It's gonna happen. You don't know what you're
He
talking
actually,
about, Austin Bradley.
when he was on The Walking Dead, he actually looked like a different person. Cause like he actually looked like he was arrested.
They called him Phil Brooks. They
Yeah.
didn't even call him CM Punk.
Yeah, he doesn't care about being called the same thing. But no, he he actually looked like he actually slept. Like, he didn't look like he walked in hobbling in any way, shape, or form. So I mean, that's a totally different question.
No, you don't understand.
Well, guys, I enjoy y'all coming on and doing this interview with me.
Appreciate it, man.
It means a lot. Is there any last words or anything you want to say to your fans?
Just keep coming to shows and
Come to D1W Destination Road. I don't even know if this will be up by this weekend. Come to Destination Road. Come to Rockstar Pro.
it's not Destination Road. That was wrong.
That's not Destination Road. Sorry, Rick. What is
Road to Destiny.
Road to Destiny.
God, get it right. Jesus
Road
Christ,
to
you're on the show.
Destiny. Anyway,
You can't get the name
hashtag
of the
Spotlight versus OI4K.
Yeah, Rockstar Pro, D1W.
It's for all the
Anywhere,
promotions we want to put over.
anywhere you see us at, and hell, even you
PWE,
don't see us
Fuji.
at.
Fuji, I said it. PWE.
Hell,
IWA East Coast. Resistance Pro.
AAW, if you're gonna go to Resistance Pro, All American Wrestling. That's for Dave Chris, by the way.
You're a dick.